Okay, so we're going to say the Torah again. We're going to try to tie it into the parsha and actually last week's parsha. It's a fascinating medrash. We're going to explain it. Bezrat Hashem. There was a tremendous joy when the Mishkan was inaugurated. Problem was, it was marred. What else happened that day? We had the tragic death of the sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu. Thank God the loss of Yisrael were around, but Nadav and Avihu died that day. Now Torah says that upon learning about the deaths of Nadav and Avihu, what was Aaron's reaction? Vayidai Aaron. Aaron was silent. No reaction to the death of his two precious sons. On that pasuk, where it says that Aaron was silent, says the Medrash Pliya, a wonderful Medrash, a Medrash that is so strange at first glance. Says the Medrash, the Torah says that Aaron was quiet. What's the mashmoyos? What's the implication? Now Aaron had something to say, but he held himself back from complaining to God. But because of his greatness, he held himself back and he was silent. Somebody silent, it's mashma that he had something to say. What was Aaron going to say that he didn't say because he didn't want to complain to the Almighty? Says the Medrash, a pasuk in this week's parsha, Uvayom hashmini yimo b'sala loso. On the eighth day, eighth day after the birth of a male child, this boy should be circumcised. What possible connection could this have to do with the events of parshas shmini? Again, Aaron's sons died on the day of the inauguration of the Mishkan. Nadav and Avihu. Pasuk says, Aaron heard about it, he was silent. Says the Medrash, he was silent. Obviously, he was going to say something. He was about to say something. There's something which he had to say to complain against God, but he held himself back. What was that? That a male child, is circumcised on the eighth day.
That's what he's complaining about.
That's the question. What is the Medrash talking about? Why would he have said that? And what would it have to do with the death of his two sons? Fascinating Medrash. If you think the question is good, you wait for the answer. This is such a geschmacking answer. In the last year, we discussed at length the Gemara in Nida about why the bris milah is performed on the eighth day and not on the seventh. I'm going to put you on the spot, Shmuel, but you're the only one here.
What do you mean? There's 15 other people.
Right. I guess they're coming later. The
babies come first, and on the eighth day, it's not tummy anymore.
The parents can't have relations.
Actually, they still can because it's a 14-day.
Very good. Right. We're talking about Midaraisa. Very good. You've been listening to the last couple of shurim. Midaraisa, the parents cannot be with each other. Or as I said, they can't make more brisim. So, we don't want a situation where everybody's happy at the bris except for the people who are paying for the bris, the parents. Everybody's going to be happy, and then the parents are not happy because they can't make more bris. So that's what the Gemara says. On the eighth day, the mother had the opportunity to go to the mikveh, and now she's permitted to her husband, allowing them to enjoy this occasion. So right now we're going to learn the Gemara in a simple pshat. Maybe if there's more time, I'll tell you about Schwab's interpretation of this Gemara a little differently. But so far, we have Max and Shlomo. Okay, we're just going to give a brief recap of what happened for those who were late. Okay, the Medrash says, fascinating thing, we're going to tie together last week's portion and this week's portion. Last week's portion, Max, welcome back. Aaron had 4 sons. Anybody can name them? Nadav and Avihu died. Who stayed alive? Not forever, but for Aaron. Elazar and Isamar. Nadav and Avihu died. Says the Medrash, I'm sorry, for those who are watching the show, I'm sorry. It's Shlomo and Max's fault that you have to hear the beginning again. You'll blame them.
Should I show their faces so everybody knows who
But you
they are?
have to thank them for buying the microphone.
Right? And thank them for Chazara. Because now, I'm sure you didn't get it the first time. Second time you'll get it, right? Thank you to the Shlomo and Max. Okay, says the Medrash that when Aaron heard that those of Avihu died, he was silent. Like Yidon Aaron. I hope I did thank. I'm sure I thanked you. I'm sure I did thank you when you. I know. I'm sure I did.
That's why I'm able to just not learn ever.
Right.
Just walk in like
You're like the silent partner. The silent partner can come in whenever he wants. So, says the Medrash, Vayidamar when Aaron was silent. You would think that he'd be so taken up, and he would share the simcha of the inauguration of the Mishkan. No, he went further. Obviously, he was sad about his children dying, but he had no reaction. He didn't say anything. Says the Medrash, well, he didn't say anything. The Torah makes a big deal about the fact that he didn't say anything. What would have he said? Says the Medrash, an even weird answer, that he could have said to Hashem, you took away my sons on the day of the Mishkan? Uvayom hashmini yimo b'sar alasai. That the male child is circumcised on the 8th day. What is the Medrash talking about? Why would Aaron have said that to God? What would it have to do with what happened? You see what's going on? Medrash says Aaron was silent. What would have he said? What could have he said to God? That a male child is circumcised on the 8th day. Why would he say that to God? What would it have to do with what we're talking about? The death of another Avihu. Before I say this real interesting answer, Shlomo, you have a thought? You do not. Okay. We good, Max? We're on the page here? Why would Aaron bring that in? What does the meal on the 8th day have to do with the death of the sons of another Avihu? This is so fascinating. It's really connected to last week, but I thought we'll say it because it's so geschmack, as they say in Yiddish. The answer is as follows. The Gemara in Nida, which we discussed the last couple shurim, says the reason why meal is on the 8th day is because if it would be any day earlier, the parents who are paying for the bris, actually, if they're in Kola, the grandparents pay for the bris, but okay. But assuming that they're actually working, okay, it's a Kola, but the people work, it's a 4-letter word, ending with the letter K. But some people do actually work, so the parents pay for the bris, and they can't enjoy the bris because they can't be with each other. What they have to do with the bris? Enjoy the bris and focus on your non-relations another time. But the Gemara did not learn the way I was learning now. Somehow it's going to stir the simcha of the bris in case they can't make more brisim, if you know what I'm saying. So I had to get that in. So now that's why it has to be on the 8th day, because by the 8th day, the Raisa, I know what Max is thinking. Didn't the rabbis add 7 more days? You're right. They did add 7 more clean days for your, right, when you learn custom classes. But with the Raisa, it's only 7 days. By the 8th day, the woman can go to the mikveh and they can resume relations, and then they can enjoy the party. That's why the bris is on the 8th day. Based on this Gemara, it could be we know what Aaron would have told Hashem.
I thought the idea was more about health reasons or something like that.
Gemara doesn't say that. Gemara doesn't say other reasons because of Shabbos, the baby has to live through a Shabbos. None of that. Gemara just says practically, so the parents can focus on the simcha completely and not be upset that they can't be together that night. Again, I don't know what that has to do with the party. Enjoy the party and not be together. Okay, that's for another time. Women and all. Okay, that's for another show. But so based on this Gemara, Anita, of why meal is on the 8th day, we can explain possibly what's going on here with the Medrash. What Aaron could have said, what he didn't say. Why didn't he? What does that have to do with anything? Aaron was the main participant in the joy of the inauguration of the Mishkan. He was the Kohen Gadol, so he was the one that was going to be enjoying the Mishkan more than anybody else. He was the main guy. He was the main man. So the Torah goes to great lengths to make sure that the parents are able to be happy at the son's bris. Now Aaron was bothered that he lost 2 of his children on the day which is supposed to be so dear to him. So you see what's going on? It's a fascinating idea. What do we see from Mila? That the Torah wants the main participants of the bris to be happy, and the Torah went out of its way to postpone Milah till the 8th day in order to make sure that the main participants are happy. So what Aaron could have said to Hashem was, hey, if the reason why you made Milah on the 8th day is to make the parents happy, because they're the main participants, I'm the main participant of the Mishkan. You're going to take away my sons on the day of the inauguration of the Mishkan? Right? It's like a mashal and imshal, like a parable. Aaron was like the parents of the baby at the bris. Just like you push off the bris for one more day, you don't have it on the 7th day, you have it on the 8th day, in order for the parents who are the main participants to be happy. So what Aaron could have said to Hashem was, I'm like the parents. Just like you make them happy, and you push off the bris one day to make the parents happy, why didn't you push off the death of my 2 sons at least one more day to make me happy? I'm the main man at the inauguration of the Mishkan. I'm like the parents. You could have done that. Fascinating idea. That's how the Medrash says what Aaron could have said, but he didn't say it. I'm going to bring one more raya to this, and then we'll go on to something else. Rashi says in Shemos that another Avihu should have really been killed earlier at Mount Sinai. What did they do there? Not the hospital down the street. At Har Sinai, they were indulging in food and drink while they were gazing at the prophetic revelation of Hashem. It's a pasuk in the Torah. So Rashi explains that whole story there. Hashem spared their lives temporarily, not to mar the joy of the giving of the Torah. So what do you see? This idea, beferish in the Torah. Hashem pushes off tragic events in order to not to stare the simcha, not to mar the happiness. So Aaron could have easily questioned why he wasn't entitled to enjoy the day as the Baal Simcha, like Moshe at Mount Sinai, that his nephews wouldn't have died. He was the main man. Moshe was like the parents at the bris, like Aaron at the inauguration of the Mishkan. Just like Hashem didn't mess around with Moshe, he didn't want to take away his nephews, his great tzaddikim, on the day of the Torah being given. So also, and the Torah didn't want to mess around with the simcha of the parents, so they postponed Milah for one more day. So Aaron could have said to Hashem, just like you didn't stare Moshe's simcha, and you don't stare the parents' simcha, you shouldn't have stared my simcha. So that's what Aaron could have said, but says the Medrash, he didn't say it. He remained silent, and he was rewarded for his unquestioning acceptance of Hashem's just ways. What a beautiful Medrash with a explanation I saw this morning, B'siyata D'Shmaya.